Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 of Let's Talk HE with me, Jack Turley, and your guest, Chris Godson. Episode 5 is part 2 of A World in Film. Over your 3 years here, do you feel like you've achieved what you wanted from this course? You know, when you first started, what it was that you wanted to achieve, do you feel like that's been fulfilled?
Yeah, I'd say I've fulfilled quite a few things. I'd probably say I'd like to fulfill a little bit more in the directorial role, I would say, which I haven't had too much of a hand in because everyone really loved me being a producer a lot of the time, and they also love me being, more of a writer and things as well. So I'd love to be able to do something a little bit more where I can help things a little bit more visually. Um, I think taking that little bit of inspiration from, getting out of your comfort zone and things as well, like potentially look at maybe doing some camera work and stuff possibly, which I'd say is not my incredibly favourite thing. However, as I mentioned before, I enjoy understanding cameras, understanding what they can do and things, because from a director's perspective,
You've still got to know that.
You still got to know that, 100%. You still got to know that.
You've got to work with your DP at the end of the day, haven't you?
100%. And that's one thing as well, is when you're a director as well, collaborate with your DP, listen to your DP, because they're the ones who ultimately do all your lighting, get the sound in the right places, get the right types of camera angles that you want. Those guys are the visual expert when it comes to the look of your film. You are just directing in terms of directing your actors, of where they want to be, how they're going to interact with each other. You can talk with your GP. I would like to go for this type of shot, which you've got on your shot list as well. Where would you recommend me putting this and other things? Because obviously, before you even go on set, you want to talk to your GP about the types of shots that you want to do, they want to collaborate with, that goes along their script, and actually say, what's the best way that you think we can actually do this possible. Have a floor plan of, how big the room is, what square feet everything is. I know I'm going into math and numbers, I'm thinking bigger and X, Y, Z, but it's true. So definitely when you're doing directorial stuff, when you're working through a DP, trust your DP. Trust your DP. Your DP is an important aspect of your film. And like I mentioned, every single person working on that film is important, even down to the runners. They're all important. To me, they're all important. When I've been on sets, and I've had to be a producer on set, like especially when I did this short film last year, which I'm hoping to push into a lot of film festivals.
Is that The Root of All Evil?
Yeah. At the moment that's the title, but it might be a working title. We might potentially change that title, just to try and fit it to more of the tone of the film.
Okay.
And I think that's part of the feedback that we had from Joe as well, is change the title potentially as well. So that's what I want to do, is really push that out there as well, but make sure that every single person who's worked on it has their flowers, because everyone should celebrate what they've done on that film. I helped out as a camera assistant on a feature film, The House on Lidderman Street, and that is nearing the end of its production by director Andrew Baker. And being on set on that was wonderful. I bump into him now and again, and he keeps me in the loop, turning around and telling me like when it's going to come out. He'd love for me to come and watch the premiere of when it gets viewed out there on screen and things as well. Now, I'm a person that's the very, very bottom of the line that's actually here, but that just shows you that the director for that film...
You were still a part of it.
Yeah, he cares. He cares about everyone who had an involvement on that, and he wants everyone who was involved to be there. And that's exactly the right representation of a director. He's wonderful on set, people, really is. And he also listens to his DP, listens to his producers, listens to his script supervisor that's there on set as well. Like, literally, that is the facets of a great director. Not just that, but he's also a great writer too.
Could you tell me a bit more about all the experiences you've had on like sets in the past? Sort of like from your first to your last, what you are now? Because the more I'm talking to you, the more I'm realising you've done quite a lot. Or
Yeah,
you've done more than one.
I've done quite a few. I'd say the most I've done was more of camera assistant and AD work. I'd say more often than not on some of other people's projects and things. My biggest one was obviously last year, where I was the producer of this film that we literally just done as well. I have helped a few other films with trying to get finances for a project as well, and therefore I've helped with that. I've turned around and I've offered more help alongside those things. However, it's a case of, no, we will really appreciate it. We're going to stick with these other producers that are actually out and doing it. However, communication wasn't always there, and unfortunately, it's one of those things. It's that bag of what sometimes happens, even though you, as a person, always wanting to keep communicating with people. Some other people don't. However, it just shows your skill set at the end of the day.
Is that something that's happened? Hopefully not commonly, or do you know?
No,
projects
that's
sometimes start and then just go down the pan.
literally happened as a one-off, and literally, like you just said, the project went down the pan.
Yeah,
And it did go down the pan. And obviously, you don't name names because that's not me.
But these things happen.
But these things do happen, definitely. Even in the bigger echelon of the film industry as well, there are definitely films where.
You look at Blade, the new Blade film that they were going to make. That didn't even get.
My God,
even at the top of the game.
I really, really wish they'd make that film.
How did the process of The Root of All Evil come about? Was that through one of your modules?
So, so last year we got tasked to create a short film, like just standard.
So it was your idea?
No, it wasn't my idea.
Okay.
The idea actually came from Lewis Bromwich, who is a student obviously I work with. The idea actually came from him, and he co-wrote it with Maya Taylor, and that was for another module for writing, a feature script, which they adapted into a short script for a film, and they'd approached me to be the producer for the film. Mm-hmm. I had read the synopsis for it, and I said, I love the synopsis, it looks great, and that's actually there as well. He gave me basically an elevator pitch, so if anyone wants to know what an elevator pitch is, literally like a 1 minute stint of literally what the film's about, what briefly happens, how it ends, like in like 1 minute. Just trying to hook me as a fish in a line. They caught me.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and I thought it's a great way to show something visually, which had happened recently, because it's briefly about a time set in the pandemic when we were all facing our own inner struggles with what actually happened. We follow a young family who are literally they're struggling to pay for things as well, and literally we follow this motif of a £10 note around, pretty much. So you could almost think like the film Snatch, how that diamond gets passed around everyone. Yeah. Literally, this £10 note gets passed around from everyone.
It's a wonderful idea.
It's not in terms of like it's funny or anything like that. Basically, it's like real, like British realism of how it's really portrayed. And Lewis Bromwich is quite like that. He loves his British realism as well, and he's very talented at telling that type of genre. And I know that's the type of genre he wants to go into, and I enjoy the genre as well. I would love to work with everyone who worked on that project. Maya, Lewis, again, 100%. They're both lovely people, and I would do more projects with them. I have said a few other projects that I've actually written as well.
You'd get them involved on it.
I've already asked them, and they both said yeah. So
brilliant.
I would 100% get some more involved.
Like you said, you find who you can trust and who you work best with.
Yeah, definitely.
Share them values.
A few of the other people that are in the class, Blake and Gavin, I've turned around and said, like, there's an idea that you've got, let's get it done. I know Blake has already written an idea for a short film, which is an interesting concept that's actually there. I'd say that's for Blake to say what that is. I'm not going to divulge what that is, but it's a lovely concept, and the tutors enjoy it as well, and I've said, yep, if you want me to help on it, I'll definitely help on it. And obviously, when we leave here, we want to keep the ball rolling. We want to keep making these different types of films actually there. I'd love to be able to try and keep showing some behind the scenes of how we're making them, how we're doing as well. So Jack, I'll probably asking you for some behind the scenes videography probably.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm well up for that.
So do things like that, and then you create little shorts, 20-second things, 30-second things, and just throw it online. Like you show and you advertise.
It's more relatable, isn't it? When you can see the behind the scenes things just for your audience, it's like wow, it's a bit more. They find a bit more of an emotional tie to the production as well, even though they weren't involved in it, but they're involved because they've seen it.
A lot of the bigger productions, they tend to do that a bit more now.
What are all the job roles that go into production, like the full production of a film? You said when you were on
many
Root of All Evil,
many roles.
So you were a producer. What does that go into? And obviously you did like the sound mixing as well for it.
This is the thing. The pros and cons. Obviously, when we're working here, we're obviously working with few students. So in terms of having more hands on set, becomes more difficult. You end up wearing more hats than you kind of should.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And really, you just want to just wear one hat where you think this is just my one thing, and I'm like, that's it. I don't have to worry about anything else. But no, I had to obviously produce. I had to also be the script supervisor that was there. I had to be the on-set producer as well. I also actually had to be the assistant director, helping out with what type of B-roll and everything that we should get. Obviously, that is not on the shot lists for all the B-roll. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So I had to help out in that degree as well. We did have a sound guy for our first day. However, he couldn't make it for the rest of the shoots, so I had to take over, and I had to be the sound recordist and had to be the boom arm operator. Even Lewis, who was the director, even had to do it. He's trying to direct, and he's trying to be a boom arm as well, and things, trying to do all that as well. Then we're also trying to edit of what's actually happening. So we're trying to edit through all this footage. Obviously, we're up against time where we're trying to do 3 of the modules as well as this. So we've got 4 modules going on the go, which is tough going.
I know how it feels. I know I'm
really
not doing the extent of stuff you're doing, but I know what it's like when
you're having so many modules together, which
I
know that they are looking into trying to change that workflow here. They're trying to do it where there may be like 1 or 2 modules going on at the same time, and you have it as a set time period. So you've got 6 to 8 weeks to do these 2 modules back to back, and then you got another 2 modules.
Nice,
so that way it gives you as a student, 1, it feels like you've got less pressure. 2, you don't
have to think about the other modules before you finish the other one. It's like it puts you in that routine already. That's always been the routine. That's what I've done over my year. I've done it one and one and one and one, so it's not working alongside each other, but other people don't do that, and they might not handle it as well. So I think that's a great idea.
I mean, I think
making it like that so it's mandatory.
It's the juggling of all the projects and stuff, which I actually got used to. I think I just adapt and evolve. That's the thing. I just adapt and evolve. That's actually there, and that's why next year I want to be creating like 3 to 6 short films. People think, oh, you're crazy.
This is like obviously outside of the.
This is when we're finished here. It's like, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, and I'm trying to do all that whilst trying to do a part-time job.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, obviously, I've got to get a bit of money in somewhere. Obviously, of course, I'd love to be able to really do this as a living and actually, deliver projects that people actually want to be delivered. You give me a time scale, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Someone gives me a deadline, I'm doing it. Every time the tutor would turn around and say, we're going to extend the deadline or XYZ. No, don't. I was like, why? Well, you give me the original deadline, I will stick to that deadline.
Yeah, of course.
And every time I've delivered.
You can't cut corners. I know it's it's not extremely serious in this environment, but
No,
it's
yeah.
still it's great habits to get into. It's like you can't cut
Exactly.
corners. If the time's there, if you're
Yeah.
going to be in an actual working environment and the time's there, the deadline's there,
100%.
you've got to hit that. You can't not hit that.
100%. You know, you have to have the mindset of, if you have a client that comes to you, like even like motion graphics, anything, no matter what facet of life, a client or a boss or someone turns around and actually gives you a time frame to do something in, you have to do everything in your power to deliver that. You have to. If it takes something quite, serious to stop everything and other things like that, and that's where you end up thinking someone's, humanity comes into play, and you know, you have they have the right persona to turn and say, you know what, yeah, I agree 100%. No, don't worry about it. We'll get it all sorted, and you just rearrange the deadline and just see what happens, basically. But make sure that whatever those deadlines are, that they are realistic. Like, try not to think of, oh, I can get a short film made in like 4 weeks. Technically, sure you could. If you've got all the people that are willing to do everything with it, and obviously depending on how many locations, how many actors, and how many shots, X, Y, Z, if you can do everything, great. You've got 2 weeks to prepare, 1 week to shoot, 1 week to edit. Great, you've done your short film. You've done your short film in 4 weeks. But whilst you're trying to balance it against several other projects, and you're trying to obviously do a part-time job as well, yeah, it's difficult. Would I buy more than I could chew, thinking, can I do 6 short films in 1 year? Probably.
Yeah.
But, the most realistic would be 3. It also depends on what type of role you're doing as well. If I'm doing a written piece, if I've written a short film and I want someone to produce it, direct it and all that, I've literally done the legwork at the very beginning, and then you're trusting everyone else in that process to get everything else done.
Mm.
So I've already started a project, so I've already been involved on one. I could be producing 2 other films at the same time, so I'm helping organise all those other things. I also could be asked to be an AD on a set, so all I'll be doing is everything that is on production. So that'll be just limited to however many days they're shooting, and that's it. That's me on another production. I could be helping out doing sound on another production. There are so many different roles that everyone, can do, but you also got to show that you've got the skill to do that you're reliable as well, and that people want to keep having you back because, you're the type of person that they want around you.
Yeah.
And, everyone works long hours on sets. Sometimes it can be just half a day. If it's half a day, wow, great. You end up thinking to yourself, why can't we do more while we're here? If you've got all the shots that you want, but you've got more scenes in the same day, get the rest of them done. Try to get ahead if you can. If you can try to get ahead, then at least then if you've got more scenes at the same location and you're back the next day, you're thinking, great, I've got longer to try and perfect certain scenes. So if you have a very core emotional scene that really hits the peak of your film, or something that is quite impactful, you may want to plan for more time in that day, because it's quite critical to get the best out of your actors, the best out of your DP and everyone else that's actually there on your set.
Do you think The Root of All Evil has been the epitome of the course for you, or is there another project that you'd come away with the most pride? You know what I mean?
I'd say I have a pride in all my work.
Yeah, of course.
I'd say I have a pride in all my work. I wouldn't like to compare one higher than the other. I'd say probably the one that is most close and personal to me would be my feature script I wrote called Alfric. It's a fantasy genre type of film, following a coming-of-age story in a way. I can't reveal too much about the story because it is something that I want to adapt and slightly change per se as well. But it is literally about seeing how he grows up, journeying along with certain characters to ultimately fulfill a goal, which is without revealing too much, helping someone or actually something. It's almost like, you see it, you can almost take, for me it was like a little bit of inspiration from, say, Lord of the Rings. You see the ring traveling from here to there. Frodo's taking it from the Shire all the way to Mordor.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier, it's like having one thing that's maybe not even a thing, but it's getting followed around the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's like everyone else wants to, whatever it is, they want it, basically. For whatever reason. Obviously, in Lord of the Rings, it's obviously power and everything that's actually there. And ultimately, in this, there is a case of, yes, there is power. There is also a case of a different type of power. And also, it's just a case of, it's just greed and things like that as well. So when I adapt that script and things like that, I would love to try and push it forward to a bigger production, because I think it has a lot of good value. It has I have put in terms of inspiration from my own life, I guess, in that, and my own life events, things that I've been exposed to personally, people close to me as well. I've taken inspiration from the good and the bad, and put my love and care, thought, and attention into it as well. I did have a script reading with a couple of the students from a different film university in Birmingham. Anna and Matt, their names are as well, and they're both on my Instagram if you want to follow them. They're lovely, lovely people. They both did a film together called The Last of December, and that's an incredible film as well. But they did a script read through a scene that was actually there as well, and they both loved it. They both enjoyed it. They thought it was also funny at the same time. So, the way I've kind of written it, I tried having in mind how would George Lucas, James Gunn, and Christopher Nolan write it. And it's almost like it's those three for me of how they write things, and they inspire me to write the way I like to write. So yeah, if anyone wanted to know more about the Alfric story and stuff, and you see me at a film festival or anything like that, you can come up to me and feel free to talk to me. I'm easy to talk to. Easy to talk to. If you see a man with a cap, or you see a man with no hair, don't be afraid. Just come up and talk to me. I am literally very easygoing to talk to, honestly, and I can talk forever. I just sometimes don't know when to stop.
Going forward with the Alfric story, is that like a style or a genre that you'd like to make more of in the future, or is there another genre that you've always thought would be where your strengths would be? Or what you'd want to make more than anything else?
I'd say my favourite genre is a fantasy genre. I'd say that is like one of my favourites.
Good choice.
I'd say sci-fi is quite close to that, because I am a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Star Wars fan. I think it's my dad got me into that when I was younger, and I could really relate to like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Or I could really, really relate to that character. So I'd say a lot of those two genres really are like my big favourites.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a lot of other genres out there. Your action, drama, thrillers. Just standard drama as well. I enjoy comedy as well. I think it has to be the right type of comedy. Also, how comedy is written. I would say my least favorite would be horror. Would be my least favorite. I think that's just from my own personal choice. However, I am not averse to making a horror at all. I have written synopsises and ideas for like horror thriller type of films kind of thing as well. So you may see like a little bit of like a horrific moment in like a thriller type of film that I've kind of like written as well. So an idea I do have for next year in a short film will have a little element of horror in it, but it will be a bit more of like a drama thriller type of piece, like realism. So I'm trying to push out into a bit of genres that I am not so comfortable with, but also want to be able to show raw emotion on screen. So, yeah, definitely say fantasy is like my top tier one. Would I be able to deliver a trilogy of films like Peter Jackson? Who knows? But yeah, the original.
I don't even think he could do it again. But
Oh, I wouldn't put it past him. I think he's got such a keen eye for things. You know, when you spend 5 months out in New Zealand filming 3 films back to back for Lord of the Rings original trilogy, truly fantastic. And that just shows the type of work ethic that that man actually has as well. And I think, you know, some people end up thinking, oh, you end up only working so ever much, you know, in your lifetime, and that's it. No, they work a long time. People do.
yeah,
You know, some people don't realise, you know, a typical film, like a feature film, some of these big production companies can take, you know, two years, sometimes 3 years, just to make from start to finish. Obviously that's a long period of time, obviously, and obviously, you know, these guys obviously need to get paid. They have bills to pay, kids to feed if they have them, families, all that. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's their job. And me as a filmmaker, that's what I desire. I'd love to make this my permanent job. It's what I'd ultimately love to do.
yeah, of course.
I would love to do. And love to be able to have a couple more dogs. I love animals. I love animals.
What would you say are your biggest strengths within filmmaking, or is it have you tried to sort of hone your skills in everything at the moment, or have you got things that you'd feel in yourself you're better at, or you'd want to more go into?
Yeah, I'd say like my strengths are in producing, writing, and directing. Um, I'd say my organizational skills, trying to keep people going, trying to keep people happy, and actually just feel like the person that people can actually confide in, and actually feel like they actually want to approach me with things that they may not want to approach anyone else. If someone has an issue, I feel like I want to be that problem solver, that I can actually deliver what they're actually asking, and try to be diplomatic about it, and trying to understand where someone's actually coming from. Put myself in their shoes. If they're going through something, I want to put myself in their shoes and understand what they're going through. If they have an issue, whether that is personal or whether that is professional. In terms of things where I want to probably strengthen, I would like to probably strengthen a little bit more in colour grading, because I'm partially colourblind.
Really?
A little bit. So I have to kind of like adapt with that. So I'm hoping, I'm pretty certain they have like certain types of like glasses and things that I can just wear and just have a bit more of a go. And
Yeah.
that's ultimately I would like to try and do a bit more on, because, you know, when we're here and we're studying at the WCUC, you do learn to have more of wearing a hat in a lot of different fields. You also get to understand and know which area of the production you want to work mostly in. So some people just want to really just work in pre-production. Some others just want to work solely in production. Some others really just want to work only in post-production. So I like seeing the process from beginning to finish. I think, you know, in terms of whether that is producing or whether that is like, you know, directing, because obviously directors still go into the editorial room and see what they've done, and, you know, want to be able to get the right vision that they want on screen out. I know there's a few people here who purely just want to do post-production and
like all the screenwriting stuff. Yeah.
Well, post-production is more of, you know, they're doing the editorial stuff for the film and stuff. Like the pre-production is more of your writers and things. So, and obviously your producers as well. and others just want to just solely just do production, where they're like everything is just camera,
Okay.
lights, sound. So, and working with actors. So a lot of I am a person who likes to wear quite a few hats, and I'm open to working in many different types of roles.
Yeah.
Definitely. I just know what I love and what I don't necessarily love.
Tell me about the modules that you've worked through and studied over the 3 years. What the course entails.
Yeah, so the course entails, practical skills, like I mentioned, working on a short film that's actually there. You also end up working on a documentary, and you're working towards your capstone, so your final project, when that could be another physical production that you want to do, or that could be a pre-production like I did and things as well. So I'd say you have to try and keep things open. If you feel like you have ticked off a few boxes and things seem to be more the same, and you feel comfortable creating something practically all the time, please 100% do that. They do have written academic things as well. So in terms of like being able to demonstrate that you can research through certain backgrounds. So for example, I mentioned earlier, I had a question which I made is, will AI replace screenwriting? So I had to do a lot of research and prove and use Harvard referencing to show that I have researched everything and prove that the research that I've conducted is basically backed up by all these authors, and be able to demonstrate and put my point of view across without actually saying my point of view in a way where I have made the reader make their own opinion of what I've wrote. So almost like you're trying to influence the reader of what direction you want them to go down, basically. Yeah. Whether you're trying to turn around and say you are for AI replacing screenwriting, or you are against it, or are you in the middle? So everything that I had researched, it seemed like a lot of them were a case of they were down the middle for quite a few, and some others were saying that they were totally against it, and saying, AI is like killing our humanity and all that. But again, it all depends on that type of question, which you as a student, you can actually talk to with your tutor, and actually see, well, what do you want to do, or what type of role you want to play in film, no matter what that is. Whether that is a case of you want to do directing, okay, well, let's try and find a specific type of question you want to do around directing. Shall we pick a certain genre? Shall we look at British realism? Shall we look at what kind of stories are typically told around British realism? Like, what's the history of that, potentially? So trying to make it as a very specific question as possible. I've also done in my first year a lot of animation and After Effects. So we were trying to be able to create a
title sequence,
yes. And I believe Jez uses mine in a lot of
part of our studies.
Part of your studies, yeah. So I found that out.
Watch this and take advice and credit for that.
Yeah. So she said that she uses that now for a lot of showing what past students done and things, and that was for my
that was in first year.
That was first year, and that was for a little title sequence I did for my first directorial type of short film that I made at the beginning, which was called Detective Noir. It was called. Ultimately, it was just showing a little piece of a scene, which, what really happened and things as well. Did it turn out exactly how I wanted? Not 100%. However, they loved the title animation from the very, very beginning. The blood effect that you see, I created it from scratch. So all the elements of the drip drops of the blood and how it's all rippled through. the shine that you have on it as well is actually plastic. Funnily enough, it's a plastic effect, and then I've just slightly just brushed up, glown up, a little bit of a fracture noise within it as well, ever so slightly. And yeah, just had it as like just running down the page, so you can almost get a sense of, when you look at the title from the very, very beginning, you can see it's, from the map, it's like, old style UK. You can see blood ripping down where you think, there's been a murder. You almost feel a sense of, this has got Sherlock Holmes type of vibe and things. And then
that's what I got from it.
Yeah, and then you kind of see like this ink splodge transformation, and it gets into where you see a young girl. You see like a bit of a British flag kind of overflow on it as well, with red poppy petals fluttering down, ink splodges, transitions into the other part where you see Detective Noir pretty much just appear onto the screen. And that actually took me, I had to do 3 compositions in After Effects. I had to do it in separate files, unfortunately, because the amount of animation I was doing on it, it was killing my laptop. It was killing my laptop. So I had to export, I had to do every one individually, and then I had to export them out, and then I had to throw them into DaVinci Resolve, and that's where I created the ink transformation part, so you could get the transformation where it would slide into the next one, and that's actually there, and then just exported it out. And yeah, it's enjoyable. People end up thinking, how do you understand After Effects? I mean, I can understand After Effects more than Photoshop, funnily enough. I'm not great at Photoshop. I like Illustrator.
I think they're the sort of me and you just like vice versa on that as well.
Yeah.
And Photoshop for me is like just, bread and butter, but then After Effects and all that stuff's like a bit tougher.
I think it's just
it's just what you've been exposed to, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's like when I said at the very beginning, it's like what you get exposed to first thing. It's like, I really like this. But when you go to something that looks similar, you end up thinking, well, why is that not there? It's like an arm extension of yourself. You're thinking, why can't I move that the way I want? And like, you can't. Or it's like, oh no, that, certain pieces don't actually exist on one software from the other. I had to get used to pressing like A and B for like cut and not cut for DaVinci, whereas like on Premiere Pro it was like I and O for like in and out. And obviously now DaVinci have brought in a new thing where you can edit things a little bit more better, where you can use the I and the O then. So you think, oh great, now I've got to try and revert back to old shortcuts potentially that Premiere Pro used to have, and then use that in DaVinci potentially. So you end up trying to keep evolving and adapting your skills consistently all the time, because the software keeps changing.
Yeah,
and they keep throwing an update nearly every single year, and that happens several times throughout the year.
What software have you enjoyed using the most, and then what are the ones where you've just completely despised?
I have enjoyed using Illustrator and After Effects, and I have also enjoyed using DaVinci Resolve. I'd say I would love to try to understand the sound part more and the sound design in DaVinci Resolve, because I can't get my head around that at the moment. And for that part, that sound design is actually there. I'd love to have a little bit more time trying to understand that more. I do find that a little complicated, if I'm honest, and I would love to try to think, whatever my weaknesses are, I like to try and work on them and develop my strengths, even though it's a field of work that, it's not on my biggest things that I want to do. However, I still want to keep up with it, because I do enjoy editing. I edited videos before I came here. I used to help do a funny YouTube channel years ago with some friends where we created Battlefield gaming videos with each other. Yeah, we did some funny gaming videos with each other, and we all had our own unique play style and things. We came up with like funny nicknames for each other and stuff. Like, I would literally never use a primary weapon. I would always use every other weapon bar my primary weapon.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, how are you still alive? How are you still doing this? So it's like, it was incredibly funny. And there were other ones where literally you would just use the support weapons. They would use their just shields, and they'd use the EMP bots that were actually there as well, and we all had like a different type of play style. It's like they had the medics as well.
Yeah.
We literally just purely play as a medic all the time because all they wanted to do was just be a medic, and it was just funny. It's like a group of friends where you just you play some games together, but we didn't play it, or we didn't play it online like away from each other. We were in the same room, had our own little TVs all set up. We were played online, but we were in the same room together, playing it, and it's a different way of playing it.
I wish I had friends to do that stuff with.
I don't now, unfortunately, because everyone's they've got their own places, or they're in different countries and things and stuff, and everyone's doing their own thing. But back in the day, I really enjoyed that. It was really, really funny.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking? Because I think it will make so much context for all the stuff we've spoke about and all the difference in generation.
I'm 35 now.
Really?
Yeah, but everyone thinks I look 25.
Yeah, you do.
Everyone thinks I look 25. So yeah, I look.
My reaction then was not the same reaction in my head. I just had to keep it toned down for the podcast.
Literally, everyone thinks I look a lot younger than I am, and everyone says I get that from my mum. So, and my mum always keeps saying like, "Oh, don't believe it, I look so young and stuff." They think I look so young, and like, yeah, you are, mum. Like, she goes shopping.
You've got to take compliments when you can.
Yeah, well, the same. My mum goes shopping, and people who she knows is like, "You never age. What's wrong with you?" It's like, neither does your son. I'm like, yeah. And then she just don't believe it. Like, I don't believe it sometimes as well. And I'd say the only age factor would be is because my haircut style, I guess.
I wouldn't even gone with that. I mean, yeah, that didn't even. But there's 15 years between me and you.
Yeah.
That is, to me, that's.
Well, at the end of the day, age is just a factor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's always just a factor, and I think anyone, whether you want to change your career or whatever stage of your life you want to get into, like take for example Samuel L. Jackson, the age of 40, he literally made his big break at the age of 40, and it's like, wow, a lot of people end up realizing, it's never too late to start doing things. It really ain't. You even have people out there who, like Gary V, turn around and say and do that as well. Simon Squibb, he's great. I love Simon Squibb. I think he's great. I think he's got a great mindset for the future and stuff. And he's always full of positivity. Always drives my ambition to keep moving forward. So if I meet Simon Squibb one day, I'd love to meet you. I think he's wonderful. I think he's a wonderful man. Ultimately, I just end up thinking to yourself, you can change and do whatever you want to do all the time.
So it was only like in the year prior to you starting the course was where you finally made the decision of coming here,
Yeah. Literally,
so
like
31, 32.
Yeah. Basically, like probably the late side of 31, I decided, I just want to kind of like change up and try to do something different. You have a life changing experience, and you end up thinking to yourself, got to be more to life than this. It really has. And even, I won't say which retailer I work for and stuff, but even now when I turn around and I see other managers work there, they end up doing the things that I did, and they feel like sometimes they don't always get a life. And I say, at the end of the day, you've got to follow what is best for you, whether you want to stay here or not, you want to keep doing this job or not. But it's the environment of where it is as well, is that you shouldn't have to keep spending every minute of every hour of every day working all the time unless it's actually
something you enjoy.
If I'm working, I'm doing something I enjoy.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm the type of person. I'm an early morning person. I will wake up at 4:30 quite happy, and people call me crazy. And I'm quite happy to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, get up, have a coffee, walk my dogs, and just pot around with them for a bit, take them home. I will be going to the gym again because I used to go to the gym a lot in the morning. So I would go to the gym, and after that I would come home, shower, and just start the day. And then if it's like a rest day or whatever have you, I would start, coming up with stories or ideas. Like, I'd have an hour and a half where I've walked the dogs, I've had breakfast, and had washed and whatever I want to do. And then I had a little look at my diary of what do I want to achieve today. Well, this is what I want to achieve today. And I go from 6 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, and I just have like little breaks in between. You go for an hour or two, have a 15-minute, 20 break. Go for an hour or two, 20-minute break, and a lot of successful people tend to do that type of vibe of things because they can keep their mind fresher and they can keep going for longer as well. Some other people don't operate like that, and I understand that, but I'm just saying what works for me.
We're like the complete opposites in that. I feel like I could go to sleep at 4:30 in the morning and still be happy about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't always been a night owl, I don't think, but it's just what happens over time, the habits you get into.
Well, don't get me wrong, when I was 20, that's exactly what I did.
The same, yeah.
That's exactly what I did. But yeah, I would sleep and quite happily wake up at 2 p.m. and, you carry on and you end up doing that life cycle. But, you end up getting like a part-time job and different things like that. You work at, different times, and you almost have to adjust. You have to adjust your body and stuff. Like, I can work quite a few number of hours because I think that's just kind of like, one, it'd been drilled into me when I was being a retail manager, and it was drilled into me by my grandparents. It was 100% drilled into me by my dad. 100% drilled into me by my dad. And, it's just, like I mentioned early on, it's what you're exposed to, and it's like whatever you've kind of like been taught. It's like in school, everything seems to be the same thing, how things are taught since the 1950s. Get your maths, your science, and all this other stuff, but do we know how to actually, earn a living and things? How do we know in the everyday life of how things need to be done? I know Simon Squibb, I mentioned earlier, he wants to change all that, and I 100% agree. I would love it where they could turn around and say, how does one make money, not just for them, but also to help other people to actually do that as well? So I think that's something that definitely needs to be looked at. You can correlate that and introduce it into the education system as well.
What has been the best experience or word of advice you've got either on set or from someone in the industry that you feel as like will stay with you and has completely changed your mindset on, your future in film?
I'd say grandfather, when he last said something to me, he said there was, keep going, keep believing in yourself, and make your vision. And I always remember those last 3 words, make your vision. And they really stuck with me for quite a while. And I am making my own production company, which I have named Make Your Vision. Hence why in my Instagram you see MYV. That's what it stands for.
No way. Yeah. Is that like everyone finding that out, or only people in your class know about that? Is that what it stands for?
I think now you'd probably hear that. That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
That's what it stands for, basically.
That is wonderful.
And I think that's not just a case of, my vision. I think that's actually a case of
it's for anyone,
vision.
Yeah.
Whoever those creatives are, whoever those human creatives are, not AI, human creatives.
Make your vision.
Make your vision, human creatives. Don't let AI turn around and go, here you go, I've created this for you. And it's like, well, I didn't want that. I didn't envision that. I didn't envision that. No, I want to create a vision. This is my vision. I am doing this without you, AI. Thank you very much. But again, it is a tool that you do have to, you don't have to use it, of course, but it does aid you in some ways.
The make your vision is, I find in my head, it's powerful to me because it's like, it's telling you to take action. Yeah. It's like, your vision's in your head, and it can be in your head for as long as you want, but it gets to a point where you've got to make that,
just don't let it.
When you hear that, like take action.
Yeah, Just don't let it be as a case of what if. No, just do it. Basically, like the amount of people where you've got an idea and you want to go and make it. I mean, there's someone recently, I forget the man's name unfortunately. He's done quite a few of the Mission Impossible films, working alongside Tom Cruise, and he directed this the recent one recently. And he said, you can't keep waiting to create something. You can't keep waiting for some things to get greenlit when you're trying to first get started out for, trying to break into this industry. You have to really go out and try to use any tool you can to make something. You want to turn around and showcase your ability as someone, as a filmmaker, you can do that. You have that power to do that. And you use what you have around you. Use what you have around you. Everyone's got a phone. Everyone's got a camera on the phone. Literally, you can use that one device to make a film. They literally have made the new film, which is like the 28 days, 28 weeks later, all on iPhone 15s.
Really?
Yeah.
Are we talking like landscape?
Every single facet of that screening for that film is on iPhone 15. So no one can turn around and
When's that out?
I think it's this year, I believe.
Yeah,
I think it's this year. I can't remember, if I'm honest.
Nice to watch.
I know for me, I'm not a huge horror film genre, but I pay attention to what
certain trends like
certain
that.
trends. Yeah. I pay attention to what audiences actually want to see. What do audiences want to see? If audiences want to see an original piece, they want to see a story on something that's actually there, and there is ideas, that's gaps in the market. Why are people not turning around and going, there's gaps in the market there, that's a great original story, I'm going to grab that, I'm going to try and actually get some budgeting for that and try to make something as big as I can and try to get people to actually watch that film because they want to see it. I know trying to do spin-off films for things and trying to redo certain things like remakes and things like that on film to try and drive profit for companies. I understand why companies would do that 100%, definitely, but sometimes it's nice to see them take risks on original films like Sinners, for example.
Yeah,
I know production companies were fighting over the rights to try and get that film. They were really trying to deliver something original and brand new, and look how well it's done. It's done incredibly well, and I would love to see more companies do that. Like A24, for example, they do that a lot, where they get a lot of original idea films and they push that out. And I love that studio, where they bring out so many films that they've done, and they've done so well in a short, limited amount of time that they've been around. A lot of films that you've watched have come from them. And they've been incredibly smart with their budgeting as well, incredibly smart how they've done their storytelling. I love their projects, and I'll continue to watch A24 films all the time.
Right, we finally got to the final question.
Here we are, the end.
The final thing that I want to know about you, and this is a good one. I'm happy with it.
Sure.
So, if you could pitch any film right now,
literally
right now, unlimited resources, budget, what would that film be about?
If I had the budget, I would definitely make my Alfred film.
Yeah.
Hands down. 100%.
Fantasy epic.
A fantasy epic. Yeah, it's a coming of age story.
Yeah.
Some people can, relate to some of those things. Would I do it as a series of films? I would like to. I would definitely like to. Could I make that as a series? I could. It's like not having to think of like, oh, what are the possibilities of this and stuff. Like, I take inspiration with like my fantasy stuff from the creators of Critical Role, for example. They basically played like Dungeons and Dragons for over a decade. They've recently made an RPG tabletop game called Daggerheart. That is very recent. It's brand new.
Are you a fan of games like that?
I enjoy those games.
Just join in with Mike.
I'd love to. I'd love to, but I haven't been able to join on his stuff. But I would love to, 100%. I'd love to. But I do take inspiration from those guys. The Dungeon Master Matt Mercer is incredible with his storytelling. I enjoy that as well, definitely. All the different verse characters that they actually bring and deliver to the table as well. There is inspiration from those guys. There is inspiration from obviously Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter too as well.
In
Game
terms
of
of like the
Thrones.
values within it and stuff, yeah.
Values
and what
within
it's about,
it,
yeah.
what it's about,
'Cause it's like a big sort of overtime thing.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
a process of character building.
To take inspiration from all those things, I end up I've put in things that have happened in my own life, people that are close to me, parts of their life that are in there. I do think that if I had unlimited resources for it, it's a story that I would 100% love to tell, basically. It's near and dear to my heart, definitely.
Yeah.
I've even had I have had an artist create several art pictures for it as well. One of them, obviously, I've shown you. You've seen that anyway as well. I know you've had a hand in with the poster that I used, but that was like from like versions of AI art, which I just used because I say use it as a tool, as a reference guide for that artist to make art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Because sometimes it's a case of, like I've said, some people can understand things more better written on a page or visually. I want to give them the best of both worlds. I've written what they're like, but I've also given them a sample of an idea of what they kind of look like. But I want them to use what they kind of see, but I want you to create it. I want you to create your own idea, make your vision, no pun intended, and create that artwork yourself. And I just wanted to see that. I've got various different types of characters that can go into that. I like and enjoy writing like character profiles, which a lot of people end up doing in like Dungeons and Dragons. Like they like creating their own characters, and they end up getting thrown into a world which someone else has created. I enjoy that whole world building aspect because you're trying to get away from the norm of things that's actually there as well. I will say it's got a facet of a mix between our reality and this reality. It's like there's a merge in between the two. I don't want to reveal more than that.
That's fine.
But I'm kind of like I'm adapting the script and changing it basically as well. I've written a little bit already, and like because obviously I've got deadlines I had to meet and everything that's here at university. But to answer your question, if I had a huge budget for an idea that I had, that would be the idea 100%.
Alfric.
Yeah.
I think I could tell, like, as I was leading up to the question, like the amount you were talking about it, and like just seeing how much your like passion went into talking.
I did enjoy writing the capstone one that I did called The Conscripted. I did enjoy writing that as well. There are a few unique characters in there as well. It's quite character driven, and it does follow a narrative, which it's a simple narrative and things, and it's actually linked with AI and other things like that as well. So, a little bit of a tagline is what will you do when AI is not here?
Wow.
I think as well, when I obviously want to try and do Alfric as well, I would love to even try and create, even a short film, even just a feature adaptation. I'd like to do something with it, 100%. And I think I just need to make sure that I get exposed to the right people and who also share the same type of vision for it, and that they are also prepared to take a risk in the project and actually can see, do you know what, I can actually see this really working, and I really enjoy it.
Is that something you've got started now? Is there people you've met over the years that you've networked and talked about your vision with? Yeah. I'd say there's don't have to give much away.
No, I mean there's been a couple of people that I've kind of talked to here and there. I'd say whether they would be on board with it or not or interested.
Where do those contacts come from?
I think they're literally just through networking.
Yeah.
Just literally talking to people and stuff.
Just online as well.
Literally online.
Meet online,
Try and connect through your social mediums that are actually there as well. Literally trying to do that. I will be trying to do a bit more with social mediums. That's actually there to try and put my reach further afield as far as I can.
Yeah.
And try and go from that standpoint as well, because I'd like to try and connect and collaborate with as many people as I can, like-minded people that do have a strong work ethic, that they are passionate, and they want to deliver a decent project, and that people actually listen to each other, that there is no one that feels, quite selfish. Everyone wants to help each other. Everyone wants to help progress each other's career moving forward, because everyone's on the same project. We all want the project to do well. We all want you to do well. And, there is no I in team. There never is. And there never will be. Whatever project that I'm on, or if I'm doing a production for a project, I always want to make sure, like I said at the beginning, everyone feels included.
Thank you so much for hosting me today, Chris. It's been brilliant.
Cheers, Jack. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I always find it hard to talk about myself, so it's been nice to obviously try to express myself. And thank you very much for giving me this platform.
What we like. That's exactly what Let's Talk is here for. It's exactly why we bring people on. You've got through absolutely everything.
Fantastic.
All your words of wisdom and stories. I hope to you guys listening take that into your own lives, whether it be obviously in your personal life or in any creative sector you want to go into. The advice that Chris has given you today. So I know I will as well, 100%.
I appreciate that, and I'm one for even listening and hearing advice from people who are younger than me, and then obviously people that are older than me and people the same age, because age is just a number. But people who have the right experience or they have an opinion, I listen and I take it on board and I absorb it. And I think every human being needs to do that and be a bit more, understanding, especially with, a lot that happens around the world. Everyone needs to be a bit more understanding, put themselves in the shoes of someone else as well. People know what's right and wrong at the end of the day. And I hope everyone moves forward in life with more happiness in their heart.
And makes their vision.
Yes, make your vision.
Really hope you enjoyed all the stories and me speaking to Chris, or more Chris speaking to me, and speaking to all you guys.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Be sure to support WCUC and, of course, Chris as well in his work now and in the future. He's got so many good projects he's got working on, and such a great future ahead of him.
Thank you very much.
I know that.
As do you, mate. As do you.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys soon.
See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.
To find out more about the courses on offer here at Warwickshire College University Centre, please visit www.wcuc.ac.uk. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.